morning, everybody. How are you? The devilishly handsome Ian Dixon. Good morning, sir.
Shut up, for f***'s sake. Jesus.
Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the Short Rise Up show this Wednesday. I have got a little bit of a muscle tone thing going on my face. You'll have to forgive me. For anybody that's been asking and checking in, how are you, Dan? I'm all right. I'm okay. I have a little ish going on with my face at the moment. It's called Ramsay Hunt syndrome. It means that when I get stressed or like so overtired, I lose muscle tone. I'll put my face on really, really quick because I don't want to look like balls for y'all. But yeah, loads of you have been checking in. It looks kind of worse than what it is. I'm very, very lucky that this has been diagnosed when it was diagnosed, because it means that I have access to meds really, really quickly. And it means that I've caught everything nice and quickly again, which is brilliant. So for those of you that have checked in with me, for those that are asking, Dan, how are you? Are you okay, hon? Yes, I'm okay. I'm all right. I've just got a bit of a wonky, droopy face. How are you lot? Are you all okay? We've got the gorgeous Olivia Beardsmore joining us this morning. We're going to be talking about the Burning Woman Festival in just a couple of minutes' time. Olivia, I can see you backstage. Apologies for the lack of snacks back there. We're still in the electro. One day I'll have a proper TV studio, and we'll have proper snacks in the green room. But as it stands, the only snacks that we've got in there are the snacks that you've got in your own gaff. Good morning, Amy Mantle. How are you, my angel? Amy, do us a favor, drop us a little message after the show, because you and I need to catch up. What else has been going on? I'm okay. For anyone checking in, yes, I'm all right. Last night in the IATQB Hive, we had the very first of our inclusivity training series, beginning with the gorgeous Alex Lynham from Beyond the Binary. We were talking about the active steps that we can make as a community, as individuals, as people who have communities, the active steps that we can make towards being a more inclusive environment for more people, for lots of reasons. One, because it's the right thing to do. It's the kind thing to do, is to welcome people into your communities, providing that it's right for them and for you. And the other is that as businesses, if we are not welcoming in people from diverse backgrounds, guess what? You're leaving money on the table. Like, we can't do business together if it's not safe for us all to do business together, right? So if you're not or actively attempting to make your communities, your audiences, your client base more diverse, you're not getting as rich of a life experience as you could possibly get. You are not getting as rich of a life experience. So you're doing yourself an injustice in the first instance. So that's even before we start looking at it's the kind thing to do, is welcoming people in. So it was really brilliant training, lovely, really accessible in terms of concept, really accessible in terms of actionable things that you can do. Please do go and check it out if you are not already in the IATQB Hive. It stands for I Am the Queen Bee. You can find it on Facebook. Just go into search and put IATQB Hive, and it just pops up. It's been there for a few years. There's a few thousand of us in there. It's a really friendly space. The rules in the Hive are share your successes and share your challenges. It isn't a spam space. We do tell you about things that are coming up in our wider community. But it isn't a place where everyone goes to spam, where everybody's selling anything from any kind of anywhere goes in to go, hey, buy my stuff. Although we will be doing a little bit of that in the next week or so, on account of the fact that we are indeed on the run up. I'm going to say it. It's the 1st of December tomorrow. We're in the run up to Christmas. From tomorrow, as well, I dust off my Christmas jumpers and we partake in Whamageddon. Who is ready for Whamageddon? Now, for some of you, it fills your heart with fear this time of year. I apologize, but as a community, I invite you to join us for Whamageddon. what is Whamageddon, I hear you ask? Well, it's a little game that we play in the run-up to Christmas where the job is to avoid the original version, the George Michael version of Last Christmas. And it can happen to you. You can get whammed anywhere. You get whammed in the supermarket, get whammed in the car. Your kids can wham you. You can get whammed accidentally on stories on Instagram. That happens a lot. We've got to tread carefully out there, you guys. So I'll be doing a little bit of a live later on to explain Whamageddon, to ask out in the hive and over on Instagram stories. If you're getting involved in it, it's free to play. It's just a bit of fun. Nothing really bad happens if you actually do listen to Wham. Don't let it fill you with the fear of God. But you know, the potential is that you'll get called home to Whamhalla. The winners are the ones who make it to Christmas Day having not heard Last Christmas by George Michael. You can hear any other variation of it. You can sing it yourself. You can hear someone's other version of it. But it's the original. You can get whammed wherever. So let me know in the comments if you are up for playing Whamageddon with us this year. It's one of my favourite times of year. I've got my little box of Christmas goodies ready to go, she says. I've got all my antlers ready. I've got my pom-poms ready. I've got my baubles ready. I've got my Christmas puds ready. I've got my sprouts ready. I do love Christmas. It's my favourite time of year. I feel like Will Ferrell in Elf. I feel like, you know, Santa, I know him. I used to live in Finland, in Lapland, 2 hours inside of the Arctic Circle, in Christmas land. Oh, man, what did I miss? You was at the docks. Oh, Linz, we're going to be playing Whamageddon. More on that later because I don't want to waste any more of this incredible human's time who's waiting in the wings, in the green room, ready to speak to us. So on a Wednesday, I try and get guests on from lots of different places in the world, lots of different backgrounds, to talk to you about what is happening in the wider world and maybe to give us a little bit of an education, a little bit of a conversation topic. And today is no different. So welcoming on to the show up Rise Up show this morning, the glorious Olivia Beardsmore. Good morning.
Good morning, Danny. How are you?
I'm all right. I've got a little bit of a droopy face going on, so you have to forgive me. I'll prop this side of it up and it's not so noticeable.
Can't tell.
Resplendent in red this morning, Olivia. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we get into it, tell us, Olivia, a little bit more about you and what you do.
So I'm a firewalking instructor, an experiential empowerment coach.
Hang on a second. That's a casual start to the day. What do you do? I instruct firewalking. This isn't all, you know, I'm an empowerment coach, or, you know, I'm a therapist, or what. I teach people to walk on fire. That is no mean feat. I'm going to hold on to that. Tell us what else you do, because we're going to get into that in a minute.
And I'm the creatrix of Burning Woman Festival.
Love that. Tell us about the Burning Woman Festival, Olivia, because, I mean, that's one of the things that we're going to talk about this morning.
Yeah, so Burning Woman Festival was founded in December 2019 from my own journey, which is quite often how these things happen.
It often is, absolutely.
Yeah, I was completely detached. I didn't realise I love life. I love life in my masculine energy, doing things, achieving things, making things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 years prior to this, I'd been guided to buy burningwoman.co.uk.
Mm-hmm.
It just sat in my Fast Host account, didn't know why. And then I was at a point in my life where I'd lost literally everything. It was just me and my children.
Yeah.
And I felt that was the time to launch Burning Woman. Now, why would you launch something when you've got no money? And
you're speaking to the right person. That's exactly what I did. And do you know what? It's not done so bad for either of us. So talk to us more. I'm just going to throw something at Wallace because he's snoring. I don't know about Burning Woman's going to be a burning man in a minute. Light a fire up his ass to get out of here.
Brilliant. Yeah, so I launched it then, and amazing things happened. Like a friend said, I'll do your website for you, pay me when you've got some money, and all these little things happen. And because I usually thrive in my masculine energy, I'd have a to-do list, a vision, know what I was creating, tasks to do it. And all I was being guided to do was connect and create. my job previously had been connected with largely a male audience. I was in bushcraft, survival skills. So I didn't really have a host of women to connect to create this. And
Wow.
I just started reaching out to women and telling them what my vision was. And then the word would spread, and women just flooded into my life, telling me their stories, telling me what they've been through, what they wanted to offer, their workshops, gifts, talents. And Burning Woman was created through connection, and the magic just literally arrives.
I think
um,
what is beautiful that when people see a movement, when people see a concept and the potential at a community where they can recognize themselves, and we were talking about this last night on our inclusivity training, when people can recognize themselves, they want to be a part of it. And I think that, you know, particularly for you, having overcome adversity, and really this festival is like a phoenix from the ashes kind of festival, isn't it? That a lot of people see themselves regardless of like the intensity of adversity, but women particularly are forged under a lot of pressure. And I think that, you know, Burning Woman, you get to recognize that, you kind of see that and have an opportunity to hold space for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the great thing is that everybody can land and just be themselves in this
Yeah.
magical space. You've not got to be, you know, just a herbal drinker wearing your yoga pants, look a certain way.
Yeah.
You literally can land whatever background you're in, whatever community or culture or any, you know, where you are on your journey in life. You know, there's no judgment. We just accept and embrace everybody
Yeah.
for where they are, and that's where the magic happens, in the connection and meeting people. Like if one of us is having a bad day, you could pick up the phone or pop round, have a cup of tea, and the magic is in that connection
Yeah.
more than anything.
And I think now more than ever, people are seeking that connection. I mean, we've seen this with Be Inspired. I've seen this, you know, as I think you created this in 2019, and then we got thrown into lockdown and sort of the COVID period of time, that sort of 2-3 years where things were really quite difficult. How did you maintain that connection with people during that time? Because I mean, you've got the festival that's coming up next year and it's going to be huge. There's a whole situation. No, how did you keep Burning Woman burning? How did you, you know, keep the embers alive whilst that was going on?
Yeah, so it launched December 2019, and literally 3 or 4 months we went into lockdown,
Yeah.
and nobody knew if festivals were going to happen. And it really knocked me, like it was a learning point for me, because I thought, I've been guided to create this. How can I have been guided
Yeah.
when this has happened?
Mhm.
So we did, like, when you seize it and you know the vision behind it, we did an online festival, and it was 2 days, 2 streams of workshops. So you felt like you as much as possible at a festival. You could pick
Yeah.
which room you went in. We had music, we had an opening ceremony, we had a fire, and created the magic. And the support was phenomenal. The majority of people passed their tickets over to the next year. Some needed their money back because it was challenging times. They still rebought tickets the following year. And then we did what we call like an online campfire, like a Zoom session on a Sunday evening, just gathering everyone, and then speakers or workshop hosts coming into running things to just keep that connection going, which has continued ever since. And we do an online festival every year now in the winter. So
I love that. So you can keep toasty and warm and still be part of the community. I love it. I love it. But let's talk about the festival itself. So we've got this lovely sort of warm environment whereby, you know, everybody's welcome and they get to kind of hold space for themselves over a couple of days. They get to partake in different activities. And what kind of speakers would you expect, or would people expect to go and hear from at Burning Woman?
So one of the things I love about Burning Woman is it meets everyone's needs. So we're looking for speakers who have got a story. They're speaking from their authentic selves. They've been there, bought the t-shirt, because they're then going to speak with a passion from the heart.
Yeah.
And for me, that it could be somebody like yourself, and you're going to be there.
I am going to be there. I'm going to be taking up some space. We're going to be taking the beautiful, beautiful project to Burning Woman, which I'm excited about.
And you know, you've got amazing speaking skills, but then we also want to create that space for somebody who's stepping into that zone. They've got a story to share, and they've got nearly a year to prepare to have that opportunity to stand in front of hundreds of women and deliver their story, because it's all about growth. It's about stepping out of our comfort zone, speaking our truth, having the courage, you know, not to keep our voice hidden, that we're of value and we've got something to offer to the world, but also just to our sisters around us in everyday life.
Absolutely. And this kind of goes back to how women particularly engaged in ancestry, right? Sharing circles, sharing story, finding common connection, finding common grounds, learning from each other. This whole storytelling and sharing of stories thing is so important. And also, as we move further into an online space, it's almost like the hand on the collar to pull us back and say, actually, no, we need to remember who we are. We need to remember that the world isn't just online. And I think that that's really important. So yes, Heidi, it's a festival. So Heidi's just saying it's a festival for women. So talk to us about that. Like, is it specifically for women, or is it for people of other genders? Like, talk to us about that.
Yeah, so it's a festival for women, and our policy as a festival is that if you identify as a woman, then you're welcome to be there and welcome to be present. We encourage teenage age from 12 and above as well to be present, and we have specific workshops for them. And people may bring young children if they want. We try to make it a space where it's an opportunity for you to have time out, rather than cater for children's activities. So we have the teenage activities, but it really is your time out space.
Yeah, so it's not like kind of a space for parents to count, like where there's creches and things like that. It's more like everybody that's there to experience the festival in and of itself. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing. And I'm so excited to be speaking there. I cannot wait. How do people get involved, Olivia? How do people find out more about it?
So on our website, burningwoman.co.uk, there's so many opportunities to get involved. You can be there as a speaker, a workshop host, a volunteer, and you know, you can have a market stall if you sell and make things, if you caterer. All the elements of a festival are there. If you want to be a workshop host or a speaker, I recommend you apply sooner than later, because we do get a lot of applications. So we usually cut that off about February or March.
Amazing. And to get tickets, how do we get tickets? Are tickets on sale?
Yeah, on sale on the website. They're live. They're currently in tier 1 stage, so it's cheaper to buy it now than it is closer to the event. And you know, I just feel we need to continue to be taking time to get out and be, you know, present, be connected physically with each other, just like with your B events. You know, we need that more important, particularly having the pandemic, now the cost of living crisis. It's our investment in ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I cannot wait to be a part of it. I cannot wait to be there with you, supporting you, and also being a part and meeting everybody who's going to be there as well. Olivia, how do you get into facilitating firewalks? I'm interested now. So you were working like in bushcrafts and team building. And how do you get into that?
So I've got a friend I've known since I was 18 months old, and she rang me up one day. She lives in America, and she said, "I've booked us on a retreat. You just get the ticket, get over here, and we're gonna have a great time." Because I've known her for so long, I didn't think to ask what we were doing, because if she'd have told me we were doing a firewalk, I'd have probably thought, I'm not sure I want to go to this.
Yeah.
So I arrived and we had an amazing time, and one of the days was a firewalk, and I was totally petrified. Like, I
Yeah.
thought, you've got to be slightly nuts if you want to walk over hot coals.
Well, do you know, funny, so Heidi maybe just watching along, and I've been blessed to have done a firewalk twice, two very, very different experiences. So the first time that we did a firewalk together was it felt almost performative, like everyone was yelling and cheering, and it was like a real like, whoa, like let's run over the fire, and it's a big thing. And the second time that we did it was a completely different experience. It was much more quiet and much more like sort of an inward experience. So again, I think that when you do these things, there are lots of different ways to experience things like firewalks, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. For me, my energy isn't that sort of rah rah rah. It's more of a connected energy. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I did this firewalk. Well, I think it's down to the presenter and who presents it. I was so empowered that I thought, right, I'm gonna do it. He delivered such a good talk. And I got outside to do the firewalk, but then when you physically see the hot coals come out of the fire, your brain's like, this is real. This is really going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I thought I was clever, Danny. And I thought, do you know what? My science brain kicked in. And I thought, if I walk to the back of the queue, by the time I get to the front of the queue, those coals are going to be cooler. So I'll be all right. So I did that, sloped to the back of the queue, waited my turn, got to the front of the queue and thought, right, I've got this. And the guy leading the firewalk shouts, refresh the coals.
Yeah. Make them hotter, they're not hot enough.
And I literally stand there watching them put fresh coals, brand new, no one's walked over. But I needed that experience in my life. I needed to know that I had the power and the capacity to walk over hot coals that had directly come out of that fire. Otherwise, I'd have constantly thought in my life, well, you know, that it was a bit of a trick. And it was the power of that moment that impacted my life. And I came away from that experience. I changed my life. I decided, you know what? I'm not here just to live life for everyone else and sacrifice my life and pretend to be happy. I'm living life in full. And if that means making changes, I'm ready to change. And I wanted to share that experience with other people. And that's how I went on to train to become a firewalking instructor.
I love that. And I think that sometimes having these sort of almost ceremonial moments for ourselves are really quite pivotal. They're almost like flag in the floor moments. So yeah, I think having those opportunities that, for example, I was at Manifest a few months ago, and there was like an ice bath, and there was walking on glass, and I think sometimes that kind of ceremonial act is a real flag in the floor moment for many people. Do you find that when you take people through that process?
Yeah, I think for me, like, you can listen to an empowering talk and feel motivated. But when you do something physical that you've got as a tangible evidence that you had the capability to do that, you can recall back on it time and time again. You know, do you know what? If I walked over hot coals, I can go and speak to this person about this situation. I can get out of a toxic relationship. I can break a habit. Whatever it is, you've got that as a physical result that you succeeded, and you didn't allow all those negative thoughts in your head to hold you back in that moment.
Both times that I did something like this, it was transformative in different ways. Like, for once, it kind of, in one hand, it really solidified the friendships that I had in that moment, and it was a real like achievement. And then the next time, like, that real deep centered connection was just a beautiful thing to experience. And thank you for being a facilitator of that. So we've got a couple of questions that are coming up, and I'm interested. So last night we had our inclusivity training. We had the incredible Alex Lynham that came in from Beyond the Binary, talking to us about inclusivity. So we've got some questions around identifying outside of the gender binary. So this is the Burning Woman Festival. If you are outside of the binary, so not a male, or you might be trans, or you might be non-binary, is this still a space that welcomes and is accessible for those members of those communities as well?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So this is something that I get a lot of questions around every single year. It always
Mhm.
comes up when we put our marketing out there.
Yeah.
And I can see both sides of the stories. There's many women that want me to make it for purely biological women, and
Right.
then there's the other side. So it's a journey I'm on
Yeah.
in my own life, because I can see that there's women that have been through things in their life, and they want to ensure that it is a safe space.
Mhm.
And from my perspective, having delivered this festival for two physical years of the
Yeah.
festival, it is a beautiful, safe
Yeah.
space.
Mhm.
And it whatever however you identify
Mhm.
is not necessarily is not what creates that safe space. There could
Mhm.
be a biological woman there that could
Mhm.
need to be removed from the festival. We've never had anything like that. But
Mhm.
that space is so important to create, that there's respect from everybody.
Yeah.
And traditionally, women would have gathered in ceremony,
Mhm.
and the men would have been around the perimeter
Mm.
holding space.
Mhm.
And if someone feels comfortable to be there, be present, and they're on part of that journey,
Mm.
then it's all part of the healing. We're
Yeah.
all on a healing journey. We're all
Mm.
on growth. We're all going to face trials and challenges in our lives. And I think it can sometimes be very easy to make judgments, but when you actually understand the journeys that people are on, and the pain and the wounds and the hurt that they go through, aren't
Mhm.
we all here anyway,
Mhm.
just to
Yeah.
embrace and offer that love on
Yeah.
the journey?
Absolutely. And it's understand, for people and this is just for people that are watching, like we've got quite a wide community of lots and lots of different people who will want to get involved, absolutely want to
Yeah,
get involved in
yeah,
the Burning Woman Festival as I am involved in it. And it's really good to understand, how would other people get welcomed in outside of that gender binary. So for anybody that's interested, please do go and check in on the training from last night. Trans people aren't dangerous people. They are as much of our community as anybody else is, and we are more than happy to have more conversations about this once the show is over today. Olivia, thank you so very, very, very much for joining us on the show this morning. I cannot wait to be a part of Burning Woman Festival, and I'm honoured to be a part of the lineup. We will put in our emails, we will put links to getting your tickets if you want to grab hold of a ticket. If you want to speak to Olivia about speaking at Burning Woman, is it people okay to just reach out?
Yeah, reach out on social media or on the website. Yeah,
Beautiful.
we'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much, Danny.
You are so welcome. You're so welcome, my darling. Olivia Beardsmore, everybody from Burning Woman. Thank you so much for joining us. So that was Olivia from Burning Woman. If anyone has got any questions around Burning Woman Festival, please do reach out to Olivia. If you want to be applying to speak, if you want to get hold of your tickets, she'll be able to point you in the right direction. We'll be popping a link to get your tickets in the not too distant future. But today is all about early bird finishing for Be Inspired. If you have been sitting waiting for your ticket for Be Inspired, well, hang on, I'll wait, I'll hang on. Price goes up at midnight tonight. So if you want to get hold of a ticket whilst it's still on the cheaps, you need to make your move. So you can pop down a deposit for a table if you want to get you and 9 friends together. Then you can make it super, super cheap with loads of table host perks as well. So if you have not already, go to imthequeenbee.co.uk or drop me a DM and we can get you hooked up with either a table or your tickets today before the price goes up at midnight tonight. If you haven't already checked in with training from Alex from Beyond the Binary last night, do go. It's on the pinned featured posts in the IATQB Hive that extends the conversation around inclusivity. We were really proud to have Alex come in. You can see Alex speak on the Be Inspired stage on the 30th and 31st of March at Old Trafford. It's worth getting your ticket just for that. I've also had some pretty epic conversations this morning already with some of our expo and stall holders. We are now so we've got 22 expo spaces and 15 of them have now gone. 16 16 of them have now gone. And we have got some of the most phenomenal people who are going to be sharing their businesses with you as part of the expo. There's loads of perks, loads of sponsorship perks that you can come and get involved with. From tomorrow, I'm going to be sharing with you the 12 days of Christmas, 12 ways in which you can get involved with the Be Inspired event outside of just being a ticket holder. So if you want to get involved more viscerally on the team, if you want to be a part of Be Inspired in a more, a more meaningful way, I'm going to be sharing with you in the next 12 days a veritable advent calendar of wonderfulness, where you can come and get involved and come and showcase your business and your missions with us at Be Inspired. So thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Short Wiser Rise Show. I will see you on Friday for more of the same. In the meantime, have a good one, go rip it up, and I will see you. I'll see you in a bit. I'll be going live a little bit later on today. This is not getting rid of me over the next few days. I'm just going to say I'm going to be live a lot. You're going to see me and my wonky face, and I'm unapologetic about it. I'll see you later.